excited to see you. I know many of you, so raise your hand if you have a Habitat for Humanity in your county. Many of you do. If you don't, then you might have one, but you don't know about them yet. So it gives you a good challenge when you get home to look them up and see what Habitat for Humanity does. Right off the top of your head, when you think of Habitat for Humanity, what do you think of? What do you think we do?
Houses.
We do. We are affordable housing. We build workforce housing. And we do a lot of other things too. We also have a home repair program where we help those in the community. We're trying to help our current housing market that was built a long time ago and making sure that that stays current and that people are safe as well. So our program is really complex. But today I'm here to share with you a little bit about innovation, and I'm here to share with you about collaboration and really a holistic approach. I was very appreciative that Blue Zones was going to come first and talk to you about the importance of health, because health, both our physical health, our emotional health, our psychological health, it's all tied together, and it all starts at home. And so when we look at, especially you, if you're planning different communities, we have to look at people in a holistic point of view by saying what is going to help the people in our community. How are we going to help give them dignity? How are we going to help give them hope? How do we make sure that we're building communities that are going to be sustainable and going to last for years to come for multi-generations? And so what I want to share with you is a video. It's about a 12-minute video, so I'm excited to share with you. In fact, you're the first one. They were just asking for a copy of this, and my answer was no. Because in a couple weeks, this video is going to launch. It's not actually ready for the public. And so you are the first, actually, to see this video that's going to be launched here about a project that Habitat for Humanity is going to be doing. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about it, because you're also going to get on a tour bus tomorrow, and you're going to get to see where these houses are going to be built. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the subdivision that you're going to drive through tomorrow. So let's keep our fingers crossed that technology is going to work, and we're actually going to get sound.
I keep finishing cameras and hanging that keyboard on the
The United States is experiencing a significant demographic shift in household composition. In 2020, a noteworthy 27.6% of occupied households consisted of individuals living alone, marking a substantial increase from the 7.7% recorded in 1940. Alongside these evolving household dynamics, there is a growing need for aging-ready homes, as the nation's population is rapidly aging, but its housing stock is not adequately prepared for this impending demographic change. This shift underscores the urgency for housing policies and infrastructure development that can accommodate the evolving needs of an aging population.
My name is Trinity Abila, and I'm the CEO for Habitat for Humanity here in Tuolumne County. And what I'm about to share with you today is something that is innovative and exciting, and that I want you to be a part of. Here's what I always tell people. You can't put a price on providing somebody dignity and hope. And every dollar given going into this project is going to do just that. It's going to be able to provide people with the dignity that they need to age in place and provide them hope that their community and people actually care. One of Habitat's mission principles is to bring hope and dignity to those within our community. And I think that's what Habitat does best. So if anybody ever asks me, what does Habitat do best? We bring hope and dignity to those that didn't have any. And when you can do that, you don't only impact their life, they actually end up impacting ours.
My name is Margot Erickson. I spent 35 years with the United States Forest Service in fire my whole 35 years. I started out as a ground pounder and ended up as a division chief. When I was diagnosed with MS, it didn't change my life much at all in the beginning. I went 15 years And that's when it finally started to affect my life. I couldn't walk. I first reached out to Habitat when I was having difficulty getting up my stairs. Habitat came in and built ramps, one at my back door, one at my front door. I use the front door probably 99.9% of the time. The back door's a little steep for me right now because of the walker, but I can still do it if I have to. As time went on and I got into my walker, I had a full-blown bathtub. I had to step up 2 steps and then step down into it. I wasn't using it, and the shower that I was using was so tiny that I couldn't even get a dang shower chair in it. So I reached out to Habitat again and asked them if they could do something about making me a walk-in shower. And they gladly did it, and I am so happy about it. It's nice to be able to go into my bathroom and to be able to turn the water on and walk right into it. I'm just so blessed. I feel extremely blessed because of Habitat. Well, what I would need to maintain a quality of life in my life right now, if I had to change something, I would take all the side corners of the wall that my walker keeps getting caught up on, and I rip it off and break it. Maybe get the doors wider so it wouldn't be as difficult to get to and from. In my kitchen, I do have difficulties in there, and that's because with a walker I can't really roll up to the countertops. So maybe if we could get the countertops a little lower to where I could actually see what I'm doing if I'm chopping or cutting, because I still have the ability to cook. My problem with it is I'll reach over to get something out of the pan and catch my arm on the pan and burn myself. So, and I have several burns that you can't see, but this one was a pretty good one. This was on a cast iron. My day-to-day tasks around my home, I'm very limited to. I can't vacuum. I can't sweep the floor. Trying to get the dishes out of the dishwasher or into the dishwasher, that's a struggle, and then trying to get them up in the cupboard and whatnot. So, I'm very limited to that. But you might as well just build me a new house. For me, when I think about where I used to be, where it took me less than a minute to get dressed and ready to go, to where I am now, and all I'm wanting to do is put on a pair of capris and a shirt, it probably takes me almost 5 minutes to do that. So there's a huge change in the times that it takes for me to get ready to go somewhere.
My name is Michael Patterson. I broke my back when I was 18. I had a fracture dislocation at T12L1, and I got run off the road by a dump truck and got thrown out and landed head first on my head, and that's how I broke my back. Heather's disability is Friedreich's ataxia, which she got a gene sequence repeat on the number 9 chromosome, one from her mother, one from her father. She didn't produce sufficient amounts of frataxin, which is used to repair the myelin around your nervous system. Her nerves started shorting out, so starting like down at her feet and creeping up her legs to her torso, slowly losing her hearing. It was a very tragic existence. For a person who's stuck in bed, let's say Heather was in a situation like this and she was in that bed, that TV could very easily, they could be added a camera. She could be given a headset with a microphone and some speakers, and she could talk to her doctor and not have to move an inch. And at the end of her life, she couldn't move an inch. So she could have seen her doctor whenever she needed to see her doctor. At the end of her life, we were able to Habitat help us get a roll-in shower, which was very important to her. She actually got to take showers in her home instead of having to get bed baths and stuff like that. Stuff like that's needed. That's not part of our adventure, but yeah.
Habitat for Humanity of Tuolumne County is launching a pilot program to construct 2 emergent 3D houses designed for the aging in place population. These standalone 1-bedroom homes will utilize 3D printing technology for complete accessibility and affordability. If successful, this initiative could lead to a full community of accessible housing options, addressing the limited housing choices and financial constraints faced by the aging population. These homes aim to provide an affordable and inclusive living environment featuring accessibility-focused design elements, including curved walls and no steps, while integrating into a broader community that fosters connections among residents of different ages.
Emergent 3D and I partnered together, and the thought was, how can we design a home around those aging in place, or specifically for those with a disability? And it was time to think outside the box. And what is more outside the box than printing a house? Well, with something as innovative as 3D printing, we can actually, for the first time, print walls that have curves. And by curving the walls, it allows not only for wheelchairs and walkers to be able to not hit up on corners, it allows more fluidity for those who have a disability or aging in place to get through the house. And it also kind of creates more of a psychological well-being, because anything that has kind of a flow to it, just like if you go outside and you see mountains and rivers and trees and it makes you feel better, so do things that have curves and flow to them.
I don't only think it, I know Habitat can build these homes. And I am so impressed with the organization that I do believe that Habitat can build these homes, and they can modify them to the needs of the people that are going to be there. I hope that is something that is attainable to a lot of people who need it in the long run.
It makes all the difference in the health level. If you actually want a person to live and give them dignity and give them a safe place to live, and it will make all the difference in the world. To just a little bit of someone cares about you goes a long way. A long way.
We have been administering an affordable housing program since our inception in 1999, and in that time we saw a significant number of elderly individuals living in substandard housing, particularly in manufactured homes deteriorating beyond repair. Recognizing the financial impracticality of 30-year mortgages for the elderly, Habitat for Humanity aims to bridge the gap by constructing affordable, accessible homes tailored for aging in place, with the ultimate goal of creating a community that provides secure, comfortable living for elderly residents. Make a difference today by supporting Habitat for Humanity of Tuolumne County's initiative to build 2 emergent 3D houses for our aging community. Together, we can provide accessible and affordable housing options, allowing our elderly residents to live comfortably and independently as they age in place.
Would you live in the 3D printed home that Habitat's looking to build?
Without a doubt. Yes, I would put my name on a paper to sign up today.
Feels pretty amazing, huh? Amazing that we can print a house. Emergent 3D up and ready. They were the first to be able to build in California, to pass a set of plans for have a home printed out of this new innovative technology. And they're able to print a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in a week. The house that you're looking at, the aging in place house, can be printed within 3 to 4 days after the foundation is laid. All of the walls and everything is printed. It has a conventional truss roof on top. And here's the amazing thing, not only is it quick to build, it's affordable to build, but it also, in the state of California, where it's difficult for people to get homeowners insurance, they have to often be on the California Fair Plan. State Farm, for any houses that are printed with Emergent 3D, State Farm is picking up the insurance 100% because of the fire resistance of the concrete homes, along with the asphalt roofs and so forth. So it's definitely thinking outside the box. And isn't that why we're here today? Is to talk about our future when we're developing different communities, developing different plans for the future. What does that look like? How do we take into accountability both our aging homes, because we all have aging homes in our county. What you saw, the mobile home, the picture of that mobile home, we see that all the time. Trying to help people who are on a fixed income, especially our elderly community, and the mobile home parks, they're falling apart. And even us as Habitat, we can only do so much to help do the necessary repairs on these mobile homes, but they've aged out. These mobile homes were never meant to be lived in for 50 or 60 years. So we not only have a housing problem, that we don't have enough housing for workforce housing and young families, but we don't have enough housing for the senior population as well. Because the current housing that they're in is so substandard that they shouldn't be in it at all. The people that you met in the video, Margot and Michael, the first time I met Michael in his home, Heather was bedridden, as you heard, and I went in there and her ceiling was crumbling above her head. They couldn't move her. It's the only room that they had. And so as she looked up in her equipment, unable to move, I reached over and sat on her bed, and I held her hand, and she looked at me and she said, "I'm scared. I lay here and I think that the ceiling's gonna fall in on me." And I looked up and said, "I'd be scared too, but we're gonna be here and we're gonna help you." There are so many people in our population, in our communities, that have stories that need us. They need you. We need to work together. The amazing thing is if, whether it be Habitat for Humanity, us as a nonprofit, whether it be other community housing organizations, not only do we have to come together and be innovative, but we have to come together. That's the big key. Here in Tuolumne County, we come together. This project that you saw was a collaboration of not just mine, of Emergent 3D, it was a collaboration of the county supervisors, of Quincy, of everybody coming together saying, okay, we see the people in our community and we have to do something. And we are so much stronger when we collaborate and we work together. And so that's what we began to do. And so where's going to be the finances to pay for something like this? Again, collaboration. We're accessing a grant, a home grant through the county that's going to help partially pay for the 3D homes that you see, as well as community donors, as well as grants and funds that Habitat's able to get because we are a nonprofit. So as we think about the future, how do we look and make sure that we're thinking about the people? Tomorrow when you go through Parrots Ferry Village, you saw a little bit of it, you're going to see it tomorrow and go, oh, I kind of remember those houses. That's our workforce housing development. It currently has 34 homes that we're building throughout there. We only have 6 more, and we're going to be done with this development. And when you drive through there, here's what I want to share with you, because you are the people who plan these subdivisions. You're the ones that come in and say, this is what we want our city, our townships to look like. And I wish I could be with you tomorrow, but I can't. My son recently got married, so I am only here for very briefly because I have lots of family at home waiting for me. So Rebecca, who is my amazing administrative manager, is going to be giving you the tour tomorrow. But here's what I want to tell you when you drive through there. It's not well planned. Habitat took the subdivision that you're going to drive through, and I want you to use this as an example. It was something that we picked up in foreclosure. The infrastructure was in, the streets were in, the sidewalks were in, everything was in. The houses were not built. So we picked it up in foreclosure and decided to continue to build and be able to provide workforce housing. Now here's what we discovered in the process. Normally, a lot of builders come in, they build subdivisions, they sell the houses, and they leave, right? At Habitat, we don't do that. We come in, we build subdivisions, we build the houses, but we stay in relationship with the people that we build the houses for. And because we stay in relationship, there's a lot of things that we've learned. One of the things we learned is that cramming a whole bunch of houses really close together does not create a sense of well-being or community. How many of you, and you may live in one, do you drive into your community, if you drive into your subdivision, you hit the garage door, you park your car in the garage, and you never go back outside, right? Think about it. You drive through those communities, they're rarely outside. They might be in their backyard, but you don't often interact with your neighborhood, you don't talk to your neighbors, because the houses are just so close, and what we've created without walking paths, without bicycling paths, like Blue Zones is talking about, we have created communities where people really are not a community. And what happens when that happens? We as humans thrive, and we need community. We need each other. We need neighbors. We need people to go walking with. We need to be able to have our children go play outside and have somewhere safe to go. We need backyards. When you go through Parrots Ferry Village, what you're going to find? They really don't have backyards. As we have continued to build out, you're going to see that every time we take another empty lot off of this subdivision, all the kids at Parrots Ferry, as we keep adding families, they have nowhere to go. They keep moving from one empty lot to another empty lot. And in a couple years, guess what? There's no more empty lots, which means there's nowhere for the kids to play. They do play in the street. You're going to go on Houghton Circle, and you're going to watch them. They go around in the circle. But when this development was designed, you'll see this teeny little community park that they felt that that was going to be enough for the children. All it has, 2 picnic tables. That's it. And some rock. And a few little shade covers. And it doesn't even have water. And it gets beaten by the sun. No kids go down there. It was really not thought about how a community would actually use this. So am I saying that when you go tomorrow through Parrots Ferry Village, that us building workforce housing is a bad thing? I'm not. We have changed the lives of so many of the families that live in there. The families that live in Parrots Ferry Village tomorrow, they are people who work at the hospital. They're people who work here at the casino. They work at the grocery stores that we go shopping in. So they work all throughout the community. And the homes that we gave them are so much better than what they had before. But I believe that we can do better. I believe we can challenge ourselves to think outside the box. I think we can challenge ourselves to be able to look at communities and wonder how we're going to make an impact on the families that we're going to put in the homes. We want the type of communities where when people go outside, you wave to your neighbor. You don't just drive in the garage, shut the door, and never talk to your community. We want the types of communities who sit on the porches and still have conversations, and children have places to play, and there are parks and places to walk and ride bicycles, and maybe even have community gardens together. Because as Blue Zones pointed out earlier, when we can provide those kinds of communities, it has been proven that people are healthier, happier, and they live longer. So to me, that seems like a win-win, right? And so tomorrow, like I said, as you drive through, it's exciting. It is. We're building workforce housing. But I want to challenge you to look at my subdivision tomorrow when you drive through and think, oh, Trinity's right. This is interesting. There really is nowhere for the kids to play. The backyards are very small. And when you look at them, I believe they're staying on the bus, or are you guys getting off the bus?
Whatever you would like.
We have 2 homes under construction that you are welcome to get out if you want to see the homes. The homes at Parrots Ferry Village, they are not duplexes. I know they look like it, but they're actually called twin homes. They're on a 0 lot line. And so they have their own completely separately engineered. One house could go down and the other one would still stay up. And so we're right at the end of, if you'd like to get out and see tour 1 tomorrow, you can. And then we're going to show you is we have 2 lots that are empty over there that we're going to be building the first pilot program for these 3D homes to go on. So why the 3D homes? We want to help the Heathers and the Margos and the people in our community. We want to build something that is not a mobile home park or something that is going to age out in 20, 30, 40 years, that windows can't be replaced. It's hard to do any type of repairs on. We want to be able to offer something that's a little bit different. These homes, these 3D homes, Habitat is actually not going to do a 30-year mortgage, because we're a mortgage lender as well on these homes. But we're raising funds currently because we're going to rent the homes at an affordable rate. Why? Because maintenance is hard to do as you get older. And so as a landlord, we know that we can keep the homes maintained and we can keep the people, continue to give them hope and dignity as they age in place. One of the things, and I have a couple 3D, Rebecca's holding it for me, if you want to look at our house and the house plans. One of the unique things about when you're thinking about how to do an aging in place house in consideration, this was, again, collaboration. I sat with all of the people who have actual disabilities and struggle with their day-to-day tasks. I talked to people in wheelchairs and walkers who were bedridden, people who had family members that they took care of that were bedridden or had to age in place. And I asked them, what do you need? What would make a difference for you and for you and for you? And so this design that we're excited that you're the first to actually see as far as the public, was designed with everybody putting in their input saying, we'd love to have this. What about this? What about that? Here's what makes it hard. And I'm going to be very transparent because I need you to be the voice in your community and I need you to be the voice up to Sacramento. California, and I'm going to be very frank, it sucks to build in California. 100%. Our hands are tied. There's so many rules. There's so many regulations that at the end of the day, we've got people who need housing or people living in substandard, dilapidated housing, and we can't even do anything to help them. It is hard, hard, hard to get through the red tape. Habitat for Humanity, we don't build affordable housing. There is no such thing in California as affordable housing developer. You can't be an affordable housing developer in California. We're just kind of crazy. You can ask my for-profit developer, Mike, who sits on my board, and he'd say, Habitat, you guys are crazy. How are you doing this? We're doing it because of the community. We're doing it because the community steps up and they believe in us and they help us be able to build what we build. But it's not affordable and it's only getting harder. With all of the rules and regulations, what's happening right now is that it nearly makes it impossible for us to just provide people with hot water. A basic need. How many of you, hopefully, or last night or this morning, got up and took a hot shower? I'm sure your person sitting next to you appreciates that. So in that, you got to have a hot shower. I can't tell you how many people here in Tuolumne County do not have the luxury of hot water. A standard hot water tank pretty soon is going to be gone. We will not be able to get them. They're probably going to age themselves out where California is going. And to just give you an idea as a builder, when we put hot water tanks, you know the kind we all remember, the big tank that sat in the closet, and your parents told you to stop, you're going to use up all the hot water in the tank, turn the shower off? Okay, those typically cost about $800 to $900 for one of those tanks. When On Demand came in, we all thought, well, that's great. That seems smart, doesn't it? On Demand, that way we're not just heating this tank of water. So Habitat, per code, we switch over to the On Demand for Title 24. And guess what? That hot water costs us twice as much to put in, right? So we're like, but, hey, it's heating it on demand, therefore it's good, we're not wasting water. You can see that. Recently, in our most current builds, on demand is no longer friendly. Did you know that? Title 24 doesn't like on-demand heat anymore. We can't put in tank heaters. We can't put on-demand heaters in. Now they want what they call a heat pump hot water heater, which kind of looks like a giant tank again, but it collects all the heat, supposedly ambient heat, and somehow converts it and turns it back into hot water. Guess how much those cost? More than triple the cost of a basic hot water heater to put into our homes. And here's the really sad part. They don't work very well. They don't work very well. But we don't have a choice, do we? Because we're locked in to a lot of policies and codes that tell us that we can put a lot of things into place. But here's our biggest concern at Habitat. What's more important? All the rules and regulations and codes to where we can't build anything at all? Or the people? The people who don't have housing, the people who need housing, or the people who are currently living in housing that's so substandard because they can't afford to put in anything else to replace these items. If we're putting in almost $4,000 hot water heaters into our homes brand new, what happens when that hot water heater goes out? Can they put an on-demand heater in? No. You want to know why? Because California is now regulating and saying that we can't put propane, right? They're taking away propane or natural gas, depending on where you are. But for us, it's propane. And guess what the on-demand uses? Propane. So what we've created in the system is really a system of unhealth, to where the problems that we're trying to find solutions to are becoming worse and worse and worse, because we're actually, as we're trying to help people, in a way, we're actually kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, right? And that means it takes us. It takes us to advocate for the people. It takes us to advocate for what this looks like, and when people talk to us, be able to talk to the builders, be able to talk to the people in the community that need our help, and be able to talk and collaborate with local partners and say, how are we going to do this, and how do we be the change? Because if the change doesn't start with us, then where does it start, right? So I task you, as you guys are here and you're looking at lots of different things, I task you to be the change, be the voice, go back into your communities, sit with your Habitat for Humanity, look into something such as Blue Zones, which I'm extremely passionate and excited for. Sit with local people, sit with your local builders. Go out. Habitat's such a great place that if you want to meet and actually see what your local people are living in, go partner with your Habitat. Go spend a day volunteering. We could take you into some of these homes and you could meet the people in your community. And so, what are we going to do? We're going to be the change. So I encourage you, I hope this is exciting. I hope as you look forward thinking, as you're thinking about planning and things that you're doing for your community, that you're looking for longevity, you're looking for things that can actually be built. And so when things can actually be built, it means that you are standing on the side of changing policies and things up in Sacramento, letting our voices be heard so that people can live in dignity and hope. Because as Michael said, if you can give people dignity, that changes their lives forever. From little children to families to us and to those aging in place. A little bit of dignity and hope goes a long, long way. So, does anybody have any questions?
Are you available to come talk to my city council and board of supervisors?
I would absolutely welcome myself to come. I will give you my business card. I would love to talk to anybody, especially being able to let people hear the real, exactly what we're talking about today.
Because we got land, but we don't have attitude.
And here's what's amazing about collaborating. Habitat has a lot of resources. As a nonprofit, we have access to funding that a for-profit builder doesn't have access to. And so here's what I always say. If there's money in Sacramento, let's work together to find it, and let's work together to spend it. I don't like when Sacramento turns around and they say, hey, look, we saved lots of money, we didn't spend all this. No, you know what that meant? That meant that they made the money too hard to get to, right? And so by working together, like we're doing here in Tuolumne County, we're putting our heads together, and what we're doing is we're gonna go after that slice of pie up in Sacramento, and we're gonna make sure that those funds are used here in Tuolumne County. Our home repair program is right now off of grant monies. It's from an HPG grant, and we can have up to $500,000 to pour back into our community. $500,000 to do home repairs in our community. That makes a big difference.
I just want to tag on to what Trinity has told you all. If you're a planning commissioner and you see that there are issues with certain new rules and regs that the state has come down with, don't be afraid to make recommendations to your board of supervisors for the legislative platform to advocate for what is needed and to be part of either the California Association of Counties grouping together in that endeavor, or if you're in a rural county with the Rural Counties Association. Just wanted to plant that little seed.
It makes a huge difference. I've had the supervisors multiple times up in Sacramento being a voice for us. And so it's important, like Kathleen said. Any other questions?
Was that 8022 that you mentioned? Is that the number of it? That for the hot water heaters that had changed over? Do you remember you said it was a?
I'm looking at Mike and Ron.
They have so many every year, it's hard to keep
They
track of
do.
which number's which.
They do, and it's really difficult. Our HVAC contractor, he actually, both our HVAC units now and the hot water have to be the heat pump. And here's what's hard about it, is in Columbia, what you guys are gonna be in tomorrow, it snows. It freezes in Columbia. Now, if you look on a map and you look at the elevation, you're gonna think to yourself, oh, no, it's fine, according to whatever this map says. But we as locals know it's not fine. And so even our HVAC contractor said to me, he said, oh, I hope these work, but we don't have a choice. We hope they heat the homes, and we hope it's going to heat the water. Recently, I talked to Matt Faust, who does all of our HVAC work, and he said what they're finding with the heat pump hot water systems on the next homes is that the HVAC contractors need to run venting down to the heat pump hot water heater to blow heat into the garage for the hot water heater to turn around, grab that heat, heat the water. That's crazy, right? So they're gonna have to run the heater to heat the water. And so that is something that we're gonna be looking into in order to be able to continue to provide hot water in these brand new homes that we're building.
Are you allowed solar on these homes?
All of our homes have solar, but Title 24 doesn't count our solar. So that's another issue that we have is when they're doing our Title 24 calcs, we've been putting solar on our homes since the beginning of every home we built here in Tuolumne County. And what's interesting is Title 24 doesn't count that into their calculations. And so something that we've had to do to meet Title 24 is we've had to actually get this special kind of I'm going to call it kind of like a caulking foam adhesive. And we actually, before we put insulation up, we have to caulk every single seam and bead all along the interior of the house. In order to find that special product, we couldn't find it in the state of California, but it was on Title 24. So we had to have it shipped in order to find the product. We went to our local Lowe's. They're like, we don't know what that is. We had our building inspector. He's like, I've never actually seen it, but it says it's right here and you have to put it in. So it's things like that that at the end of the day, that's why nobody can build anything. Makes it less affordable.
I don't even know where to start, but I've been doing this stuff for 50 years. I helped write the solar tax credit bill when I first got started. And I know a lot about this stuff. But my wife and I are turning 80. My wife was 82 and I'm 79. And we want to downsize. And we want to live in a community where there are old people and young people and have solar and make some water hot. I've got 32 panels on my roof. I live in a big house. We're too old to have a big house. So we want to live in a community that is just what you're talking about. I don't know where to look. We've been looking all over. We don't know. We want to downsize. We want to live in a community where everybody has a community.
But there are none. There are none. So Habitat, what you're going to see when you drive through, you're going to see the community that we're finishing up building. But we have 9.23 acres on the other side of the fence. You're going to see, you'll kind of see it on the bus. Rebecca will point it out to you and say, look over that wall. This is some more land that Habitat owns. It's that kind of community that we're looking to build. We're looking to build a community that's going to have these homes that you saw. And what is super unique on these homes that we're building, these one-bedroom, aging-in-place homes, is that the bedroom was actually designed to be able to put what I call a dummy wall up. So later on, if they have to have a caretaker, this is how much thought went into those plans. You have to have a caretaker, family member, somebody take care of you. The way that this house is designed is that a dummy wall can be constructed, and that way you actually have somewhere for the caretaker to stay while the person is still aging in place, and later on that wall can come out. But when we look at that, we're looking at walking paths, we're looking at communities, we're looking at actually combining workforce housing back with an aging community. I live in what I call Leave It to Beaver community, okay? I do. We wave at each other. I probably shouldn't say this because I'm on TV, but you know, we rarely lock doors. I mean, this is the kind of community, when people pick tomatoes, I have oranges, we all share our produce, we talk, we sit on the porches, how are you doing? And it is a multi-generational community. I just sat on the porch with my neighbor Roy, he's 82, and we just chatted and had lemonade the other day for about an hour, talking about all the different things in the neighborhood. And that is what we have to bring back. That's why when you go home, I really, really encourage you to watch the Blue Zones on Netflix. When you're talking about good binge TV, when you're exhausted from this weekend, go home, turn that on. Because you're going to see the impact, tangible, proven impact about what you're talking about if we begin to think outside the box, which is really not outside the box thinking. 100 years ago, we were living in community. We've stepped out of community. And as a society, we're really not doing very well, are we? Because it's time to step back in to community.
So if the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission make a commitment to have that kind of community, can you get building, can you get financing and build communities if the regulatory system says, you're in, we like you, we're gonna help you instead of fight with you?
Yes.
And so what do we do?
Then we talk about it, and we locate the land, and we locate different things, we locate resources. And in Tuolumne County, we're really, really blessed to be here because we all are in relationship. And so it's a matter of now looking, you know, Quincy knows my passion, she knows what Habitat's looking at, she's aware of Blue Zones, the supervisors are aware. So it's getting everybody on board to say, look, we have to do something different. And then coming together, like you said, looking at the finances, making it happen, and getting through the red tape.
So that's why I joined the Planning Commission. I was asked to do it, and I know the Board of Supervisors, most of them, very well. And I want to help create that. And I have a selfish need to create it for my wife and me, and my grandkids, and my kids, who can all come into a community like that and go, hey, this is a cool place to be.
It is. And so it's working together, finding the community members to come together and make it happen.
Is this a new mission or whatever as far as this, the Habitat retaining ownership and being property manager?
Habitat for Humanity is known as, yes, providing mortgages. This is a new mission of Habitat Tuolumne here. We're not alone in that mission. The CEOs just met a couple months ago, all from all over the United States, from all different Habitat for Humanities. And more habitats for those who are aging in place are switching and looking at a model of more of a rental, affordable housing model. Part of it is because we're able to get a grant right now for that house that you just saw. There is a home grant that we can get with the help of Tuolumne County. Okay, this is where Tuolumne County comes in and says, we can help you. We're going to help you. We have to apply for the funds, but we're going to give you the funds to build these houses. And through that home grant, we're able to get $198,000 to go towards building one of the aging in place homes. $198,000. The thing is, it's not for home ownership. In order to get the grant money, we have to be able to rent the homes. And to be honest, we're okay with that. We're going to go a little bit outside the box, and we're going to rent the homes only because we know, like you saw Margot and the people who are there, they can't maintain the homes. If their faucet goes out, their dishwasher goes out, if there's a problem, I mean, our homes, when you get a vehicle, you know that you have to go get your oil changed, right? What happens if you don't get the oil changed in your car? It stops working. The thing when people buy a home, the thing we never learn, nobody teaches anybody how to check the oil of their house. Your house is full of mechanics. It needs to have filters that are changed. It has to have things that are looked at all the time. When we at Habitat for Humanity, we have a social service program, and we educate all of our people. We have classes to teach them how to maintenance their home, because it's stuff that we just weren't taught in high school. No offense to algebra, but I've yet to use it. But man, I would have really loved how to maintain a home, how to buy a home. I think way back then we did learn how to do checks in a checkbook, but we won't all date ourselves because the new generation doesn't have those. But it's the same process. And when you are aging in place, are you going to go up and be able to clear all of your gutters? Are you going to continue to be able to do all the maintenance on your home? We go into people who currently own their homes, and it is heartbreaking for me to watch the elderly population say, I used to be able to do that. I used to be able to just change the faucet, but my hands won't stop shaking. And I feel so, discouraged and down on myself because I can't do this anymore. But we come in and we say, oh, no worries, we got it for you. We'll come in and switch the faucet for you. So by renting the homes, we're going to be able to help them maintain dignity and hope, because we at Habitat can keep the homes maintained. And then we can keep them set for their purpose. So at some point when they pass away, we're then able to take a home that was completely designed for somebody aging in place and put the next person who needs it right into that home.
A couple of minutes ago, you said something about how solar wouldn't qualify for your 24 number. What exactly does that mean?
So Title 24 is kind of the energy calcs. California comes in and says you have to have a certain amount of energy efficiencies. I'm looking at these two because they speak this a lot better than I do. It's a complicated language, but basically we have to have the right light bulbs. We have to have the right amount of insulation in the homes. There's all of these ratings that talk about if we're energy efficient. And what's been interesting in the whole process of Title 24 and its conception is that it has never included the fact that you have solar, which I think has been one of the most energy efficient things we can do, because solar goes back and it feeds the grid, right? It provides more energy, but it's not included in those calculations. And if you don't meet a certain Title 24 score, you have to do more things and spend more money and keep doing upgrades until you meet that energy efficiency score. Anybody else? So I will have my card. I'll put a couple cards on the table. You also, did Rebecca already do that?
Everybody's got your card.
Okay, so what you have on the back here, here is our website. We gave you one of these. If you want to be a giver towards our 3D project, we're getting some technology here. If you haven't used one of these, you just put your camera on your phone, linger it over here, and this will take you over to where you can give. One of the easiest ways, I can't say it enough, and yes, I need to put a plug in, and if you have your local Habitat, I'm going to put a plug in for them too. One of the easiest things you can do is this little card right here. If you know anybody who has a vehicle, anything that's registered, boat, trailer, motorcycle, anything, this is such a great way to be able to help Habitat, help your community, is by doing Cars for Homes. And then I do have business cards that Rebecca's handing out if you're interested in emailing me or if you want to call our office. But I'm always available to talk to any of you, and may I be an encouragement, and I just want to thank you, because by coming here today, you made the decision to be the change, and I just want to thank you on behalf of our community and on behalf of your communities. Thank you for being that change.